Hello and welcome to the Cage Fight Podcast.
Hey.
I am your host, Nick. As always, there's a fuckboy across from me.
I'm actually the most important host.
Okay.
Is my official title.
Ah.
Just kidding. I'm the white guy.
He's the white guy, the mic guy.
Yeah.
And over on the right here, we have a new guest because Zach is not here again this week. And
Who?
I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay. Can I actually call Zach and have him introduce me?
Sure, if
I'm
you want.
Okay.
He's actually been banished from this
in the
podcast, but you could try.
hospital.
Oh, has he been banished?
Yeah, starting now.
Okay, cool. I'm Brandon. Hello.
Oh yeah, this is Brandon. He's
Damn, I was
he's got a
calling you
big,
Brandon, dude.
beautiful
I'm sorry.
What?
I got your name wrong. I'm sorry. I thought it was Brendan. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck would name their kid that.
Yeah, I
The
always do that with
Frasers?
For some weird, if your name's Brendan, you're even whiter. And I didn't.
That's true. Brendan.
Brendan.
Like, yeah, you just kind of go into like a Karen voice when you say it.
Like, excuse me, Brendan, can you please stand up?
Yeah, and I do the same thing with the lead singer of Incubus all the time. He's something Boyd, one of them.
Avoid the Boyd.
I will not avoid the Boyd because when he pops that shirt off, let me tell you, I'm listening.
I don't think he's ever worn a shirt. Has he?
I did see Incubus in concert once, and there was no crowd reaction whatsoever until he took off his shirt. They did like 4 songs, nobody made a peep, and then he took off his shirt.
And the keen-eared viewer or listener may have noticed that Dave is back up on the boards now.
Bitch, guess who's back?
We were forced to rehire him, and
They
Eric.
came back with their tail between their legs. The response to the protest was too loud.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Eric got a job fact-checking another podcast for the friggin' White House, and it's keeping him pretty busy.
yeah, he has no free time.
Is there another person on this fucking podcast that isn't here?
Well, we had a different engineer last week because Dave. We've had some issues with Dave, and we've talked about firing him. We've tried to fire him, and it just didn't take for a while.
Like, I have a
Now,
question.
don't forget about the NDA, boys.
Hold on, can you fire him, but he still does the work?
See,
Well, I don't plan on paying him this time, but
Yeah.
you didn't hear
Hey,
that, right?
NDA, buddy. NDA.
Oh yeah, sorry. There's a non-disclosure agreement.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm Hispanic. I'll take his job.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is
That
what I'm
would
looking
be-
for.
Yeah.
honestly,
Literally for probably less than what you're paying him.
Yeah.
this just turned from a podcast to an interview.
Now, I just want to say, I just got to send my gratitude out to the man, the myth, the living legend, Zach, who led that protest out in front of the house and saw that it wasn't getting a response and took it to the highway. He went out and did the whole, stop the traffic. People need to know this man needs a job. And he got hit not once, not 12 times. He got hit 12 times by just back to back by several different vehicles. And it's really sad.
It was pretty
He's
brutal.
very injured. I don't think he's in critical condition anymore, so they took him off the pain meds, so he's just feeling it right now. So if people can just hit F in their chat,
Yeah, pay your respects.
I'm
And
pressing F right now.
I didn't realize that Zach got hit 12 times because I stopped after like 6 or 7. So
Yeah. After 7, I was like, okay, Zach's been through enough. We better give Dave his job back.
Yeah.
So,
The other
if you
6
go
were
on
me.
the Well That Sucks
Oh, okay.
subreddit,
Yeah, I just
you can
teabagged
actually
him.
see it.
there you go.
Somebody filmed it.
oh, I'll have to check out the footage.
I still have bits of Zach's My Little Pony shirt on my wheel well. So
Okay.
yeah. Welcome, Brandon.
Welcome, Brandon.
Should we,
Unfortunately, welcome, Dave.
Yeah,
Sup?
I'm a little torn up about that, but given the fact that he's not getting any money out of my pocket this time, I guess fuck it.
I
Whatever.
also can't see him, which is pretty lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's best when you can't see, smell, sense him.
Yeah.
You can hear him, but his aura is like in another room,
Yeah.
which is good. So Brandon, we kind of introduced ourselves on this podcast by like going through what our favorite movies are, kind of to establish our taste. So we have like a frame of reference for how shitty we think these movies are.
Yeah.
So off the top of your head, what are some movies that you you stan. That's what
Yeah, so it just so happens that I have a top 10 favorite movie list in my notes that I made months ago, literally for no reason.
Look at this piece of shit.
So let me get to this here. My top 10 lists of video games, movies, bands, artists. So top 10 movies. There's a few that are missing, but we're going to talk about these. So number 1, Mulan.
Oh.
Rouge?
Yeah, yes. No, I have like Avengers Endgame, Lord of the Rings, fan of the whole trilogy, Mulan, Star Wars, big fan of. I get a lot of shit for this. I like the prequels. I like Revenge of the Sith, which is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh,
which
damn.
I can apologize for some of the prequels, but I cannot say any of them is my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's only like the prequels have the way better graphics and literally everything.
I think we have a lot to unpack on this podcast besides these movies. So.
I hate the Dark Knight trilogy. Go-Gurt is just yogurt. Custard and ice cream are literally the same fucking thing.
Ooh, I take issue with that because I live in Wisconsin.
Custard is so much better.
What about the difference
they're
between
literally both the
sherbet
same
and
thing.
sorbet?
Those are also the same thing.
I have no idea what
Agreed.
that is. I will not die on that hill. So,
I'm pretty
but
sure
I will die on
sorbet
the
is-
custard ice cream hill.
Oh yeah, because custard rules. But sorbet, I'm pretty sure, is just sherbet in French. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they're all cold and they taste like cream, so it's all the same thing.
Damn.
Also, a few other favorite movies: Interstellar, Wolf of Wall Street. If we're talking about horror movies, I'm a big fan of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes, Midsommar.
Midsommar is great.
I'm trying to see that director's cut of Midsommar. That's friggin' Ari Aster is amazing, and I can't wait to see what he does next. And I hope it's nasty and involves more head smashing.
Everything he's ever put in is pretty incredible. I'm also a fan of really shitty, terrible movies.
Oh yeah.
Like Ginger Dead Man, Deathbed, The Bed That Eats.
I
don't know
every
that one
movie
offhand.
about literally any kind of shark: ghost shark, sand shark, avalanche shark, two-headed shark, mega shark, mecha shark, any of them. Literally,
honestly, we just watched Ghost Shark not too long ago, and that movie was surprisingly fucking
It was really
awesome.
fucking good.
It was so much fun. But yeah, so that's Brandon, and you know what? I forgive you for it.
Thank you.
But Ghost Shark is rad. I will plug that. Also, I did just recently watch Ginger Dead Man, and
It still holds up.
I remember seeing that movie like on the shelf at Blockbuster when I was younger, and wondering why it existed. What nobody told me is that Gary Busey's in it.
Oh man, I have seen that on the shelf at Blockbuster then. I do remember that because I was thinking, it was like, this sounds familiar, and I was picturing Gary Busey, and I was like, no, that's got to be something different. But
It's got Gary Busey in it, and let me tell you something, Gary Busey kills it in every role that he's in.
So I don't know how long we've been recording for, but we haven't once mentioned the movies that we're supposed to be talking about.
Okay.
So let's get into this a little bit. Today we're talking about Firebirds and Seeking Justice. They are two movies that I'm willing to bet you have never heard of. I hadn't heard of them before last week when I found out I was going to be watching these. And
two movies that should both be the names of cars instead of just one. Imagine driving around like a Dodge Seeking Justice. I don't know.
So I think first we should probably talk about Firebirds because it came out first. That was the way.
That was the first one I watched too.
So Firebirds, I couldn't find an MPAA rating for this for whatever reason, but based off what I saw, I'd guess, I don't know, PG-13 probably. There was one scene of mild gore. Maybe they were stricter in the 90s and made R. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know how much like unwanted advances towards women.
I think that
go
should be an
into
X-rated movie.
The rating, yeah.
Yeah, the sexual harassment that goes on in this is a little.
It's a NC-17.
It's not quite Zandali levels, but
he's flying the airplane above her, and then he says, "Oh, you know I like it on top, baby." And he does that for 5 minutes every time he moves his fucking airplane.
And
or his
also-
helicopter, I'm sorry.
And also, everybody in the base below them can also
Could all hear him.
what
Could all
he's
hear him.
saying, and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you so good." Yeah.
yeah, it was a little unnerving that no one said anything to him either.
No, they're probably jerking off. I'd be jerking off. You're in the military. A lot of them, they're probably single. Their wife's probably cheating on them. So I imagine they're jerking off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to get it while your wife's, friggin' having babies with your neighbor, or whatever. I don't know.
Tell me right now that if someone said, "Hey, Do you want to ride in my Apache attack helicopter and just jerk off? Tell me you'd say no.
Honestly?
Came out in 1990, the height of the drug war, essentially, or right around the height of the drug war, which you will notice in the plot of this film. Directed by David Green, a man who has directed such other hits as things I should have looked up beforehand.
Oh yeah, he did the Big Green
Giant.
Big Green Jolly Big and Green Giant. He also did Buster, Breathtaking, Car Trouble, and a bunch of other movies you've never fucking heard of. Let's just put it this way. He is a white guy that was born in 1948 who
tried to make movies.
Making a movie about the drug wars. So that says what it needs to say.
Mm-hmm. This was produced by Touchstone Pictures and Nova International Films with a mercifully short runtime of 86 minutes. I'm glad to be back in some hour-and-a-half pieces after going through a bunch of 2-hour movies.
I wanted it to be much longer.
The budget was $22 million, which I assume
is all the helicopters.
Yes, was all the helicopters, and that the U.S. military probably wanted script supervision for use of. Which I think we talked about in USS Indianapolis. But box office gross of $14,760,451. They've got it down to the single dollar there.
So it made way fucking less than what it cost to make that movie.
Yeah, they lost about $7 million on this. So,
which is surprising because
I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, this movie made me feel so patriotic. You know.
Mm-hmm. Made me want to go out and just kill
people
in the global south.
He's like, it was a Tommy Lee. He's like, I joined the military is the same reason you did, to kick ass. It's the most American thing ever. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, to just go to the south and just murder someone who's minding their own fucking business.
Yeah, because, and you know, for me, anybody I don't recognize is cartel. So.
Also, Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 10% on the tomato meter, 36% on the audience score, so not well loved. Not well loved. But
I have some trivia here if we're ready for that.
Yeah.
Countdown?
Sure, why not?
Eat shit.
No, fuck. I thought maybe we could get one out of them.
Yeah. I thought maybe that's the key to getting countdowns from Dave, is to just ask him when we don't need one, and then we can cut it and put it where we need it.
That would have worked, but fuck you, Dave. It was infamously known amongst critics as Top Gun with helicopters.
That's what I wanted from Top Gun.
Is exactly how I
if you take Tom Cruise out of Top Gun and literally just make it Nicolas Cage, that movie would have been way better.
Yeah. There'd be less Scientology.
A little bit less.
I would have left in Tom Cruise and taken out one of the friggin' other guys who I was going to try to name, but I couldn't. Val Kilmer? Is it Val Kilmer? No.
Val Kilmer's in every old movie.
Yeah, but I think he's a Scientologist too. So.
Here's a fun fact about me. I have never seen Top Gun, and I don't really plan to. But
yeah, I mean, it's
you pretty much just said that you're in the cartel, not American.
Oh,
yeah. He basically started the national anthem on a tape player and then kneeled right down in front of us. I'm curious to know, I guess, how much this movie was promoted around this time, because I feel like
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it, but it feels like it was a movie that was like the dads loved it and fucking
went military grandpas and stuff.
Yeah, and
yeah, like if your dad owned a Harley and a Guns N' Roses T-shirt, he would have really loved this movie.
Fuck, we're gonna go see that Firebirds.
We're gonna see that Firebirds movie.
We're gonna go see Firebirds, and then 20 years from now, we're gonna go see Wild Hogs. Let's see. A lot of the trivia is like pretty boring unless you're into like military stuff. So let's the Scorpion attack helicopters are actually Hughes MD-500D Defenders.
That's so fucking cool.
Holy shit. That's a bunch of numbers for something.
When you said Scorpion, I thought you were going to start talking about the Scorpion King.
Oh yeah.
I was going to talk about the tank from Halo.
Mad that we didn't.
The tank from Halo is the real Scorpion.
Okay.
Yes.
Stand alone.
Tommy Lee Jones did actual physical training in full uniform with a bunch of fucking soldiers or whatever, and
I bet you sure had to do that in your one scene that you decided to run for 10 seconds, and then the literal rest of that movie you're standing or sitting.
Yeah, and the whole point of that scene was to show that he's old.
That he's
and
old as
slower
fuck,
than everybody
and literally
else.
slower than all. Yeah.
But it says in the fun facts that nobody knew that he wasn't one of them because he's that good, you know? But he actually, I feel like he did really pull off that role. Like, I actually looked up Tommy Lee Jones's personal history after this because I was like, I feel like he
had to have been in the military.
He was in the military, right? But he was not.
No, he's just an old, angry white man, and anyone could have played that role.
Yeah, anybody who calls
Why didn't they
me
get
soldier,
my grandpa?
Yeah, they could have.
Honestly, Tommy Lee Jones is kind of all our grandpas when you think about it.
I would prefer to have him as my grandpa because then I'd have like
Men
$20
in Black
million.
money.
Yeah,
I was just about to say, Firebirds should have ended with Tommy Lee Jones being like a Men in Black coming up to him.
Yeah,
that would have been, honestly, we should remake this movie or just add our own ending to it. Where a guy in a black suit comes up and like erases somebody's memory, and then they're like, hey, you're freaking really good at helicopter.
Yeah.
And now you're old and they don't want you in helicopter. So we're going to kill aliens with you.
Exactly.
And that's how that went.
Why be in helicopter when you can be in spaceship?
In spaceship. Like, hey, we know if we don't offer you this job, we know you're going to retire, go home, beat your wife, be an alcoholic on a daily basis.
What if you overheard your employees sexually harassing each other in the vacuum of space?
Would you do anything about it then?
Yeah, would you step
no
in
one
then?
can hear your sexual harassment. So, moving on to the plot summary now. We open with a nice little quote from George H.W. Bush about how our military will be fighting a full-scale war against drug cartels in the global south.
Always a good way to start off a movie.
Yeah. I was honestly sold as fuck right off the bat.
It's if you're ever wondering what the attitude was at the height of the drug war, just watch this movie a little bit and watch the way they talk about it, because they the way they describe it uses the word war and fighting a war about 85 times when they talk about the DEA, which I could go on a whole rant about the drug war, but this isn't that type of podcast.
This whole movie, so like the war, the drug war, them training an entire fleet of pilots was really to kill 5 whole people in that movie. When they show like the people that are there, it's a handful.
Yeah, realistically, one guy with a helicopter.
There's one guy with a helicopter
that
has a bullshit helicopter. You never find out like where this guy came from or anything about him other than, I don't know, he's like Hispanic and really good.
He's a mercenary and he was trained in North Korea.
He
was like German or something. I think.
He didn't look German.
Yeah, true. He looked Hispanic, but his name was like Eric Stoller or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, no real reason to make this guy the enemy other than the fact that we were told he was a drug lord and he's some kind of minority, and he like shoots somebody's helicopter down at the beginning of the movie.
They needed a villain. That's why he's there.
Yep. Right. They needed a villain, and because of the drug war mood at the time, they didn't really need to do a lot of exposition. They put him in the movie and they're like, everybody's gonna know that this is the guy to hate, and we're gonna blow him up.
Yep. So it starts out, and Cage is in basically the war room from Dr. Strangelove, if anyone's seen that movie, which the funny part about this to me is that Dr. Strangelove tried to go comically over the top and make the U.S. military look like supervillains, and then they unironically used it here to make them look cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and Cage is reciting what happened to him while flying some helicopters with the DEA. They got shot down by, that bad guy, Eric Stoller, her minority pilot, helicopter pilot.
Cartel guy.
The cartel guy who looks like he's from Portugal, who flew in North Korea, who has like a Russian name.
And so in that incident, a helicopter explodes. Yeah, Cage is saying, the drug war soldiers are giving it their all. And they're like, you've impressed us, Mr.
That was
Cage.
all it took. That was all it fucking took.
Yeah, it's like, you will now be in the program to shoot these people with Apache helicopters.
How much do you hate anybody that's not American?
A lot, sir.
You're in.
I'm impressed.
So Tommy Lee Jones is the helicopter air-to-air combat instructor, and he's going to be teaching Cage along the way to fly an Apache helicopter because apparently Cage has flown tons of helicopters, but never an Apache helicopter, and this is extra special. You really got to get this one down.
He's a master pilot. He's basically Luke Skywalker in this movie.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, well, here's one thing that you can't fly.
This other helicopter.
This different
helicopter.
And they're toying with you like, what if he doesn't pass the test to freaking be the pilot? And they're like, who the fuck else is going to do it then? Because you're already telling me this guy's the best at it.
Because there were a total of 2 pilots. And the other guy didn't even get named, I don't think. He was just there occasionally.
Yeah. And then the whole time the reason that Tommy Lee Jones is, heading the instruction of this whole thing is because he's some like master pilot himself.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he's a little bit set in his ways. He's too valuable to send out on the battlefield.
Yeah, they got to use him to train more people.
Exactly. Because that's how piloting works. You kind of just copy and paste the skill. And, if he tells it to somebody, they automatically become the best.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I know you could kill this person literally alone, but instead I need you to train a lot of other people that aren't anywhere near as good as you are at this job.
Exactly.
To go out and die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of the movie is, it goes back and forth between, and I'm sorry to derail your plot summary here, but it kind of just bounces back and forth between Nicolas Cage, not taking no for an answer from this woman, and then
I was gonna get to that next.
and then him training and his arrogance is failing him.
It wasn't his arrogance.
It was his eye.
It was his eye.
It was
his right eye dominance, which I can probably imagine anyone who's watching this has probably really literally never heard of that, because it's probably not an issue for literally anyone.
Yeah.
But if you do have a problem with it, just put some panties on your head.
Panties?
And drive.
And like a snorkel?
Yeah. A little
and drive a Humvee.
Mm-hmm. It'll all work out in the end.
That's what my tax dollars are paying for.
Exactly.
So, so Tommy Lee Jones takes Cage up for a test flight, and it's like military tech porn. He's like, this baby is equipped with this many cannons and it can do a nose turn in this much time. And they're talking about how great an Apache helicopter is. And I just, for one, I don't think you can legally buy an Apache helicopter unless you are the U.S. military. So I believe
it's because of the liberals.
Second Amendment.
They're trying to take our helicopters.
Literally my right.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, because of those liberals, we can't do that. And so I think they got these on loan from the U.S. military. And the U.S. military, I have a feeling, wanted them to do a little bit of propaganda about how great their tech is and how they can destroy third world nations from the sky.
Do you know what would stop cartel-driven attack helicopters? If you just give more good guys an attack helicopter.
Yeah, the only thing that can stop a bad guy with an attack helicopter
is a good guy
with an attack helicopter or a ground-to-air missile.
And why? Okay, we'll get to that. But why wasn't that the fucking answer the whole time? Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely was a giant advertisement. It felt like, I don't know if they do this anymore, but every time I would go to the movie theater at a certain point in time, there would always be a giant Air Force commercial, like 10 minutes of just like people spelunking out of helicopter, whatever the fuck Air Force
the one commercial of like army guys just running across a fucking desert,
right,
miserable and probably about to die, and then it's like, join the army, they need your help, or some stupid shit.
Right.
Army
and
proud.
This movie felt like pretty much just that, with a little bit of like, hey, if you friggin' fly our helicopters, you can harass whoever you want.
Yeah, which brings us to, after landing, Cage meets a lady pilot named Billy Guthrie, who I gather from dialogue they dated at some point before or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really...
What gave that away?
The fact that he said, like, something about a fiance, I don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they apparently had attempted dating before and didn't work out. And so he's like, hey, what if I just keep fucking poking you until you
I'm pretty sure that somewhere like in their beginning dialogue, she says like, "I'm not interested anymore. We're done." And he just keeps walking towards her or something, saying, "Oh, come on, baby. You know you still want," like some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then every
He
subsequent
says, "You know
time,
you can't resist me."
Yeah,
Heavily
you know you
loves
can't
to.
resist me.
every subsequent time he sees her, he's like, "How about that drink tonight?" And she's like, "Jesus Christ, do I have to get a taser?" And he's like, "Hey, it won't stop me."
Yeah. It's like, the only way to stop me is to kill me, baby.
Honestly, that's the vibe I was getting because he was just
even my
relentless.
superiors see this and they don't give a shit.
Yeah, he was doing this in front of everybody and nobody cared at all.
No one gave a shit. That he's literally stalking her.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. It was very creepy.
He won't even let her drive the car. Like there's like 3 scenes where he's like like joke fighting with like her over the keys and shit. And then he's like getting all like super close to her and she's like, "You're being so forceful." And he's like, "You want to see forceful? Hold your arms out, close your eyes." Then he like just goes in and makes out with her and suddenly she's just
then she's
really
into
okay with it.
Yeah,
she
she's
doesn't care
fine.
anymore.
That's what she was waiting
That's
for.
what she. Oh yeah.
She was
and
waiting
what
for
she was
him to
wearing.
begin assaulting her and not
Yes.
just harassing her because that's when she knows it's real.
The line they cut out of the movie is Nicolas Cage saying, "You want to see forceful? Have you met my entire personality?"
I felt myself being like not uncomfortable, but also like kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was.
Not as uncomfortable as I was during Zandali, but this didn't have an actual rape in it.
That's
Oh, yeah.
true. But it had the motives.
I kind of felt like there was actual rape in this movie.
It
Well-
felt like it was leading up to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
I
when
mean,
it changed to like their like quote unquote sex scene of them being on the bed with like the red candles and like the super nice music after he just spent 20 minutes getting like shit on because he's creepy as fuck.
mhm. Yeah, then then he forcibly kisses her and she's really into it and they have sex for I don't know how long and they're back together again.
Yeah,
That's
because
it.
the moral
It's
of the
wonderful.
story is keep trying. She'll say yes.
She'll say yes. Or
She'll
you know
give
what?
in.
She didn't say yes. She didn't say no though.
Mhm.
That's
know what I'm saying?
exactly.
That is true.
Exactly.
What have we learned? Just do it.
Yeah, informed consent did not exist in the 90s. It was a different time.
But yeah, this movie is mostly scenes of him sexually harassing a woman until she finally starts dating him, interspersed with scenes of Tommy Lee Jones being like, "I want to fly attack helicopters." And they're like, "You're too old. You just teach people to fly attack helicopters. You don't get to go into combat." And then him being like, it's
like,
Nicolas
Cage is my only hope, but he's got an ego on him.
And then scenes of him training Nicolas Cage and Nicolas Cage being like, "Booyah, I am the greatest."
He's like, "I am the greatest." Every time he shoots something in his fucking fake video game, I am the greatest.
In
Not
the
an
simulator,
exaggeration.
he literally began yelling, "I am the greatest," at least 15 times.
Yeah, in a flight simulation, just screaming, "I'm the greatest! I'm the greatest!" Time after time, and Tommy Lee Jones being like,
He
I'm not
reminds
gonna-
me of me when I was young.
"I'm not gonna tell him, but he is the greatest." And then it cuts to like Tommy Lee Jones in bed with his wife at home, and he's like, he can't sleep in the middle of the night because like, there's this kid, and he's our only hope. But you know what? He needs help. He needs my help. He's like,
He's a cocky son of a bitch.
it's derailing his entire life.
Yeah. But so yeah, that really is the bulk of the movie until we get to the end is just scenes of that. One thing that I do want to mention, Cage's big struggle in this as a pilot is that we come to find out that he has a dominant eye problem and that he's right-handed, but his left eye is more dominant than his right eye, which I do remember being, 12 years old and having taken a hunter safety course because I live in Wisconsin and that's just what goes on
You
here,
have to, or
apparently.
they'll shoot you.
Yeah. I do remember them talking about dominant eye things. Most people don't have that. I do believe that Cage would have learned about this issue well before he got this far into piloting.
You're telling me that he's never, like, it wasn't a problem when he was, I don't know, like, shooting a gun when he was in the military. Like, literally the thing you do in the first 2 days of being in the military.
Mhm.
You're telling me he didn't know that when he was literally training to be the best helicopter pilot of multiple helicopters in history. And when they said, "Oh, you're right, I dominate," he was like, "What?"
Yeah, he's like, "I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of."
And also, the first time he experiences the issue, before you realize that there's this right eye dominance problem, he's in his helicopter and he puts down he puts down the little whatever that thing is over his eye.
The data chip thing.
Yeah, there's some thingy that he puts over his eye, and he starts
HUD.
like freaking out. He's like blinking all over the place, like he can't see anything. He's completely blinded by this.
Like, he's not like just closing his eye going like, well, what the fuck's wrong with my eye? He's sweating, he's shaking, he's like hyperventilating.
It's like he has a piece of glass in his eye or something, and he's freaking the fuck out.
I also love how she proved that he was right eye dominant when she was like, stand over there. Now I'm gonna pretend to shoot me, and like he holds his hand up and closes one eye, and she just moves to the side a little bit, and she's like, "See, that's it right there." Yeah, I was like, what?
She was banking on because the way she approaches the subject is she's like, "You ever play cops and robbers as a kid or whatever?" And she somehow knows that he is going to figure out that means squeeze one eye and make a finger gun, and that's how she determines that. He's closing the eye that he needs to use to friggin' fly.
Because he didn't learn that in the years he's been shooting multiple guns.
Nope.
But hey,
over multiple attack helicopters.
Honestly, kudos on her for that working. It was pretty clever.
I do think us shitting on him is ableist, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't want... If anybody out there is...
right-eye dominant.
Right-eye dominant.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say, hey, at least you're not deaf.
If you're left eye dominant, though, that's the devil. You might as well just kill yourself.
Exactly.
So they
deaf people shouldn't.
Sorry. They solve his eye dominance problem by training him to use the correct eye by
fucking genius.
Yeah, they wrap panties around one of his eyes and put a periscope on the other eye and have him drive a Jeep around until he can do it.
And until he almost hits dozens of
cars. Oh, dozens. And the general, he's driving on the wrong side of the road next to like the general on the base.
And Tommy Lee Jones just gives him an awkward salute, and Pantyhead keeps driving.
And the other guys are like, "Isn't it a nice day for a drive?" And they just drive. Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I freaking got my eye smells like coochie."
So like in the scene, they show like the panties are across his face, and he has this weird fucking like snorkel or tube tied to his eye that he's like looking up to see.
They must have had like mirrors in it or something.
But they also showed that when they did a close-up of Nicolas Cage's face, that the panty was covering the eye.
Yeah.
That was literally over.
The whole time they were doing that, I was trying to figure out how this apparatus was working, and it didn't make any sense to me.
They're like, "Hey, do you want to know how to be better at flying this attack helicopter? Put pantyhose over your eye and just go take this Humvee out onto actual streets to hit people."
And if you kill anybody, just say, "Hey, sorry, I'm right eye dominant."
We're trying to break it. It'll be okay. And those are all the major scenes until the climax. Except one thing I want to mention is they are in a bar listening to the news, and the way Nicolas Cage realizes the gravity of this drug war is there's a news report that says officers say that despite 24 arrests last week and a huge drug bust that captured over $20,000 of cocaine, they are overwhelmed by a huge problem that seems to have no end. And I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe stop the drug war. I don't know.
They were like, there was a scene where I think they were sitting down and someone said to Nicolas Cage, they were like, "This is a national emergency of the greatest importance." And like, are you sure it is? Are you positive that this is a national emergency? $20,000 worth of cocaine in 20 people.
Yeah.
And honestly, that doesn't seem like that much cocaine, right?
I mean, it was 1990. That wasn't like everything
true.
Like 10 cents back then.
Yeah, I think so.
That's true.
You just like go out and like buy a woman for like 10 cents in the 90s.
And he refused to do that.
He gave her no money.
No, absolutely no cash exchange.
No, bullshit.
But yeah, I don't know. I think at this time people were hungry for another war because it'd been like a good 12 years since the last one.
Yeah.
So so they'll kill drug dealers, whatever. But
basically, and for anyone, I don't think we read verbatim the George H.W. Bush quote from the beginning of the movie, but the quote itself is, if there's not a war by then, 11 years from now, my kid will take care of it.
Yeah.
So
finally they go on their mission to aerate the drug cartel. They're flying to South America. Cage finds out that Billy's going, and he gets super mad at her, and he's like, "Why can't you accept that? I just don't want you to get hurt."
She was like, "Oh, you can talk to me on the ride there." He's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm going with." And he's like, "In war?" She says, "I can't even have this conversation with you." And then he starts screaming, "Why can't you understand?" I'm like,
yeah, She basically tries to pull the friggin' sexism card when he simply just doesn't believe that women should be fighting a man's battle. Come on.
Yeah.
But he just wants her to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and he wants her to
just genetically and biologically, they're weaker. I don't know what to say.
Exactly, and like the seatbelt fits weird around their boobies.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
It's literally just math. I don't know.
If they have to eject rapidly, like the boobs are gonna slap them in the face,
or it'll weigh them down. They won't go as far. The machine won't work.
Yeah,
and don't even get me started if it's that weak.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, but if anything, it could come off like he's being sexist, but if anything, he's being the opposite of sexist, because it's not that he doesn't want a woman fighting a man's battle. It's just that he wants to kiss her so hard that she should be a school teacher.
So, once they get to South America, Cage and Tommy Lee Jones have a little heart-to-heart, and he's like, "You're a great teacher," and he's like, "You're a great student," and then bam,
kiss,
air raid.
Yeah.
I also don't think we talked about the scene where Nicolas Cage followed him to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, and then badgered him into helping him.
He's like, "Hey, I suck at my job. Can you help me?" And he's like, "No, just be better. Just learn. What the fuck? You're a grown adult." And he's like, "Oh, you're a shitty person." And the guy, Tommy Lee Jones is like, "Oh, feed my kid while we're talking," and he does. And then then Tommy Lee Jones grabs like 6 or 7 like full cans of SpaghettiOs, and he leaves. And then I don't know.
He's like, "Yeah, I can't help you right now. I'm about to buy SpaghettiOs."
Yeah. No. So like Tommy Lee Jones and everyone else sees this guy screaming in his cockpit, sexually assaulting a woman multiple times, literally beating up some other guy randomly who is just dancing with her in a club, and then following his commander to the grocery store to yell at him while wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
And they're like, "He's the best pilot we got.
Hey, you know
he's
what?
our only hope."
There's a lot of things that I'm willing to push under the rug, as long as he kills whoever is freaking getting these kids all baked on coke.
That's what I'm saying, dude. How much of that cocaine do you think is going in Halloween treats that year?
Honestly, probably most of it.
Probably all of it.
It's one of the major dangers.
They only caught $20,000 of it, so however much else they made, that's how much is going into it.
Yeah, if it's not needles, it's drugs and the Halloween candy these days.
I really think it's bullshit, because I think my favorite part of Halloween was getting the razor blades.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I like to cut myself with them.
Yeah, and the U.S. military is like, "We got a national emergency." What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I would have freaking gotten some drug candy, I would have found myself years earlier.
Yeah, I think what they don't think about is, like, you need the candy with the razor blades in it to chop up the candy with the cocaine in it, so you can, like, you know?
It's a package deal.
Mm-hmm. And if you get rid of one, like, what's the fucking point?
You got to buy them separately.
It's really fucking good.
It's just a conspiracy because I think I feel like the parents just want all the drugs for themselves and they don't want their kids to get all having fun.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So,
only white politicians can have cocaine. Mexicans can't. That's the moral of the story.
That's
actually.
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
As long as they don't have it, you know, I'll hold it for you in my nose.
Okay.
My nose.
Yeah, I did forget to mention that Cage not only stalks his female coworkers, he also stalks his superiors.
Yeah, he's got problems.
But they had a heart to heart.
I was impressed.
And they get air raided. by Evil Helicopter Man.
Yes.
But they only show them like the evil helicopter man that's shooting like mortars. This crazy good helicopter man literally had a full hour to target them,
Mm-hmm.
and he hits one person.
Yep.
And attacks none of the helicopters.
None
beforehand.
of them were ready. A helicopter can be like stationary
Yep.
too, so he could have just stood there and just shot
Literally
everyone.
killed every single one.
He could have taken down all their helicopters because he was literally in the vicinity, and instead he was firing warning shots or something.
Yeah, apparently he takes out one of their 3 helicopters, or one of their 3 Apache helicopters on the ground, so that one gets taken out. And so they all hop in their helicopters and get going after him. For some reason, the drug cartel has multiple jets, fighter jets.
Yes.
I don't know where they
that
got
they
those.
never talked about before.
They never
Not
talked
only
about before.
they're like, hey, this one helicopter pilot's a god, he's super good. And they didn't talk at all about the 3 very good airplanes.
Yep.
Airplane
Which I
pilots over
think
there.
honestly would fuck up some helicopters,
Yeah.
considering they move at, like 3 times the speed of sound.
You know what $20,000 in a cocaine will buy you? A friggin' bomber
A jet,
bro. So
If
they've
we just
obviously
had
done this
more
before.
good guys with the bomber jet,
That's true.
I literally think none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, and they were hard to take down. They're fast. Helicopters effective but cumbersome.
Mm-hmm. So, they get up there, and in the middle of the battle, Evil Helicopter Man shoots down Tommy Lee Jones's helicopter, and it crashes, and his co-pilot dies. So Billy, who rides the scout helicopter, she just points out targets and stuff. She lands and helps out Jones, and one of the jets is attacking them while it happens. So, he instructs her how to take one of the missiles off the side of the helicopter, put it onto a handle they have there, and shoot the jet down from there. And they do it, and if it was that easy, I don't know why they didn't do it on base or
is that
something.
the only one you have?
Yeah,
That's the only one of those. The thing that very easily
Yeah.
just took down a bomber jet. You're saying that when you guys were all sitting there prepping or getting ready, you're telling me no one had one of those.
No one.
Tommy Lee Jones just had it in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these guys don't even know that we could end this right now. But he's like, you know what? I'm bored.
Yeah, I want to fly this helicopter.
I did all this training. I want to do war stuff. And then he did. I'm not gonna lie though, that scene was it was intense.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of fumbling to try to get the rocket launcher put together. She doesn't know what to do, and so the man instructs her on how to do it because he's a big man, has big penis, knows how to
big
do
pee-pee.
it. And then she shoots down the plane, and he's like, "Hey, you did a great job with a man's help." And so that was the end of that.
So
That movie really does show she does nothing on her own.
yeah.
Well, she dances with whoever
that's
she
right,
wants.
that's right.
So
Exactly.
I don't
So
even know
meanwhile,
why Nicolas Cage wants her personally.
yeah, Cage fights Evil Helicopter Man and kills him. They do some aerial maneuvers, and eventually he flies onto the other side of a mountain and then comes to a stop, and then the other guy flies over the mountain, and he's like, haha, you messed up now, buddy.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Master helicopter pilot that's killed countless people that they needed to trade a whole division for. And you're telling me all you need to do is just go lower and stop, and the other helicopter, the expert, just flies overhead, and he says, "Oh no, I totally didn't see him just drop."
he literally just stopped short, and the guy was like, "Oh no, I'm a very good pilot, but not this good." And he flies right over him.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah, the scene they show 3 times of him going upside down and doing multiple flips and tricks. You're telling me when he sees the helicopter in front of him drop, he just keeps going straight what do I do now? Are you fucking kidding?
Flips I can handle straight down.
Straight down?
That's
Yeah.
weird. That's
Yeah,
some
I can't
fucked
do
up.
that.
I can't. Yeah. So then Tommy Lee Jones is medevaced, and Cage and Billy ride off in the sunset on a helicopter as Phil Collins plays.
As he insists to drive.
He insists that he drives that
So
helicopter.
in the car, he's like, "No, babe, I'll drive." And she's like, "No, this is my fucking car. Get your own fucking car." And so she takes the keys from him forcefully. And he says, no, babe, let me drive. And he chases her. So at the end of the movie, when she's like, hey, let me just literally drive my helicopter, back. He's like, no, babe, only I drive.
Yeah, I fly helicopter. I killed evil helicopter man.
Killed
Who did
evil
you
helicopter
kill?
man.
You killed a jet. You didn't kill evil helicopter man.
You didn't do shit. You killed a jet from the ground.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can stay down here.
So
Also, you're telling me being in the military, she's never seen that thing before?
no.
I mean, it's a tube with a thing you got to stick on it, and
He was like, hey,
utterly confused by it.
Take this square, put this tube on it. Hey, look through it. Hey, just press this little button and then, I don't know, point and shoot.
Also, he described it as that thing that looks like a cigar box. Looked nothing like a cigar
Nope.
box.
But no. That's how you need to explain things to a woman.
Yeah, I mean, she knows shapes.
Yeah, she knows shapes. She doesn't know what, like the weapon is. Being in the military, she's never seen any of those before.
No.
But he says, hey, the thing that looks, was he like didn't he say coffee can?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
a
yeah,
coffee can and a cigar box, and you got to put the coffee can into the cigar box.
And she was like, oh yeah, I make coffee for my mans every morning. Like she got.
Yeah. He should have just said, put the broom in the mop bucket. Or I don't know.
She could have shot down 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
But yeah, so that was the whole movie. Overall thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it hasn't aged well at all.
No.
It's definitely an artifact of the time, and it's just your typical late 80s, early 90s action movie.
Mhm. I
mean,
will say it does have some kind of cool shots of helicopters flying around, and it looks like they actually filmed real helicopters flying around
Yeah.
and shit. So,
I mean,
that was pretty well done.
It was
but-
so bad that I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it.
it's one of those things where like I really like watching shitty old action movies, and all of them pretty much exclusively have these terrible themes in them that just because action movies are just so like hyper masculine, like Republican-y bullshit. And so I'm willing to put that aside to just watch the movie, but when it comes down to it, that's not really what I'm looking for in a movie. But it was fun.
Whenever you need me to summarize this shit, I got you. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hey, Dave, based off what you heard there, what do you think? What do you think this movie was about? Can you give us the plot back?
Men are better. Period. That's it. Next movie.
Got it.
Allow me to address my notes.
Oh.
He's got
George
notes.
H.W.
Yeah, I have
Bush and a
notes, too.
baby equipped with cannons in an ad for helicopters and propaganda. Nick Cage is in a relationship with the drug cartel and gets tased. Very creepy. George H.W. Bush assaults his girlfriend. Uncomfortable. Zandalee is in this movie. Just do it, she says. Grabs baby on cannon and kisses Nick Cage. He is a helicopter.
He is a helicopter.
He is
George
the
Bush
helicopter.
is the greatest. Tommy Lee plays a drum solo. He's the greatest. Lots of dominant eyes. Baby is a beta chip male. Zandalee finds the eye by moving some. And uses panties and a jeep. Gets a salute from Tommy Lee. Girls, girls, girls plays. He has an enormous erection. News says drugs are a baby with cannons. Hungry for war. Cage rages at Zandalee. Sexist seatbelt ejects her boobs. Baby cannon kisses South America. Air raid on grocery store. Tommy Lee feeds baby SpaghettiOs, cocaine candy, raisins. Conspiracy against babies, Mexicans. Cage stalks George H.W. Bush in cumbersome bomber jet. Tommy Lee attacked by the Jetsons. Intense war stuff, Zandalee shoots a plane. Dances with whoever. Cage kills baby with cannons. Phil Collins plays drum solo, drives Zandalee's car. Into a coffee can / cigar box.
All
Wow.
right.
I mean, you say you don't pay attention, but that was pretty much right on the money, I would say.
Yeah. The air raid on the grocery store is actually my favorite part of this whole movie.
Yeah, I wish it would have happened sooner in the movie.
I don't
but
know.
yeah,
See, I'm just trying to pay attention more because I know that was part of the non-disclosure agreement.
yeah, we
Which you just disclosed, so you're that Well,
Does that make him Fireball again?
I
He's
think
always
it does,
Fireball.
but
You mean Firebird?
Make some Firebird.
Yeah,
Firebird.
One of the stipulations of Dave coming back was that we told him he had to pay attention, and so that was just a quick test to see how much he actually picked up. And he did a pretty good job. He missed one of the drum solos. He got 2 of the drum solos that were in the movie. There were 3, but not too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with that going on, Brandon, did you share your thoughts also?
Oh yeah, that's a great fucking movie. I felt American. I felt American. I immediately checked to see which eye of mine was dominant.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the movie would have been better if there was an Apache attack helicopter, but it was Nicolas Cage, like Dave just said.
Oh yeah,
Thomas the Tank Engine, or like the mod in Skyrim where like they're Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah,
like that. But his face was on the attack helicopter.
Honestly, that would have been pretty rad. And maybe for the remake.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I liked it. It was so bad I liked it. Yeah. It was super rapey, which made me really uncomfortable at times. That kind of took away from the rest of the movie that I stopped playing World of Warcraft to actually watch this movie because I was super intrigued.
Yeah,
that was the part where I took the note uncomfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think with that, we're going to take a short little break, and then we'll be back to you with Seeking
Justice.
Yeah, Seeking Justice.
SJW
Batman
Warriors.
Yeah, SJW Warriors. It's about Antifa. So we'll see.
He takes down Antifa in this one, and they're the cartel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, we're here now to talk about Seeking Justice, a movie that you've probably never heard of. I know I hadn't.
It's the 2011 one.
Yeah, it came out in 2011, 21 years after the previous movie.
Yeah, and 10 years after
9/11.
Well, that's not what I was going to say, but, you know.
So this movie, again, I couldn't really find an MPAA rating, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why these 2 movies I was unable to find a rating for. I'm going to look at this one, though, and I'm going to guess.
I'd put this at R.
Yeah, I'd put this at R, based on the level of gory violence that occurs.
And suggestive themes.
Yeah. It's directed by Roger Donaldson, and, great guy. He's probably won an Academy Award, right? He had to have.
Yeah, I mean, with a name like the son of Donald, you know?
No. Okay, he's from New Zealand, and his films include the acclaimed 1981 relationship drama Smash Palace, which sounds more like a reality show about porn stars.
Smash Palace, that's what I call my freaking bedroom, brother.
Yeah,
that's where all the magic happens.
Wait, hold on. They call this
sex.
a relationship drama, but the photo is of an old balding man holding a shotgun and a little girl. So,
well, that's
God, I'm so interested.
That's what makes me squirt.
What is it called?
Smash Palace. He also directed No Way Out, 13 Days. Oh, 13 Days. Is that the one that's...
It's the one, it's the...
Never mind, that is not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of a movie with Antonio Banderas that's based off of Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton. 13th Warrior, was that? I don't know.
13th Warrior, 13 Days.
Is that the one that's based off of Beowulf?
Yeah.
Bullseye?
Like one warrior per day. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. He made Dante's Peak also, which I believe... No, never mind. This is not the volcano movie I'm thinking of.
He made a lot of movies that sound like movies that you've seen.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's him. It was also produced by. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. He directed Species, which I think is that movie that is not Alien but wanted to be Alien. I don't really remember.
Hold on. If Species is the movie I'm thinking of, is that the one where there's like an alien life form that comes to Earth that's like parasitic and like?
I think so. Yeah, with Natasha Henstridge and Michael Madsen, Ben Kingsley, Alfred Molina, Forrest Whitaker, and other people that were all in this movie that we're not talking about.
Well, this was produced by Ram Bergman Productions and Material Pictures, which, produced such hits as Ram Bergman.
I'm not looking that
they
one
produced him. I'm not looking that up either, and I don't
I
care.
thought you were going to say Rambo. I was like, fuck yeah.
Rambo: The Last Blood.
Runtime of 105 minutes, budget of $30 million, and a box office gross of $12.3 million. So
Damn.
we haven't seen one that's been in the black in quite a while at this point.
It's been a minute. Which is, I mean, this has a I don't want to say stacked cast, but there's like a lot of people from like other things, and like
You're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah, every time somebody came on the screen,
it's Dexter's sister.
Yeah, Dexter's, who was not important to this at all, and I feel like they cut out all her.
Yeah, she had
dialogue.
2 scenes where they tried to make her important, and in the second scene, you're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it was basically one scene they showed her, and the other scene she spoke once, and you were like, oh, that's all we're gonna get. It has January Jones in it. She's on that friggin', is it Last Man on Earth, the Will Forte show where he's the
I haven't watched
Last
that.
Man on Earth. It's not bad.
Isn't Kristen Schaal the one in that?
She's also in it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And of course, frickin' Harold Perrineau, Michael from Lost, and he didn't even scream Walt in the movie. It's like, come on, dude.
Shit show.
Well, that's not. Well, we could get into that, but we won't. And
Shit show.
Who else but T-Dog from The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah,
T-Dog.
Shit show.
I didn't remember
that is a shit show.
I haven't kept up with The Walking Dead since like season 5.
I haven't either. Well, maybe season 6, but T-Dog, man. He's the black guy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I gotta look up T-Dog, and you're like, the black guy. I was like, oh yeah, I know that one.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 27% on the tomato meter and a 39% audience score. So about 2 out of every 5 audience members likes this. About 1 in 4 critics likes this.
That was a lot. It was a lot. It got a lot better of a score than for Firebirds, but I liked it way less.
Yeah,
that's racist.
Hold on here.
Sorry.
You're giving away your vote early.
Oh, sorry.
You can't do that. Can't do that.
Sorry, I take it back.
We'll cut that for suspense.
We'll cut that. Brandon's banished from the. He's gonna have to join Zach with the people that I'll never speak to again.
I think was it Ghost Rider wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Ghost Rider: The Spirit of Vengeance wins.
Oh, okay,
Spoiler
cool.
for next week's episode.
Okay, cool.
That we haven't recorded. So getting into a plot summary here. It starts out with a camera recording an interview, and it says, "What does the hungry rabbit jumps mean?" And then it cuts to a guy getting driven off the roof of a parking structure for some reason.
By none other than T-Dog.
And then it cuts to a really pretty girl making like music, and then her getting beaten and raped. So that was lit.
Yep, she's a cellist. It's Cage's wife. They're married, and she's playing a cello and recording, and then she leaves the recording, and bam, attacked and raped. And
they don't show it. They show her getting attacked.
Yeah,
they do not show the rape.
But yeah, that happens while Cage is playing chess with a coworker of his named Jimmy, who will become relevant later. But they set up Jimmy quite a few times. It's like, Jimmy, we're good friends, Jimmy.
We're good friends. You were, where's your son, Walt?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So Cage goes to visit her in the hospital, talks to her. While she's laying there beaten, she's real sad. She's real beaten up, bruised.
Yeah,
she's been raped.
She's bummed out about
fucking
it.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting action over here.
It's like, it's over. Why are you sad?
Then some dude in the lobby comes up and he says, "Hey, we can take care of the rapist for you. We're just a few citizens who are seeking justice."
Whoa!
Title drop. So Cage initially refuses, and then he accepts, and the way you accept is everything about this is all convoluted codes. Like, he has to go to a vending machine and buy 2 of a specific candy bar, and then he agrees.
The security guard's like, "Won't you get something healthy?" And like Nicolas Cage just like looks at him.
Yeah.
It's like a dramatic moment, and I didn't understand.
There's absolutely no reason to even look suspicious, but you just happen to keep looking over your shoulder every 3 seconds at the cop who's waiting to use the vending machine. Just buy the fucking candy bars. Nobody. I can tell you one thing. I've never seen somebody buying a candy bar and thought,
what the fuck
he's
are you
enacting
doing?
a crime of some kind. So maybe just chill.
But next we see the rapist getting murdered by some dude, and the dude who's killing him says, like, some scumbag like you murdered my wife 3 months ago. And bam, and he calls a funeral home and he says, the hungry rabbit jumps.
Yeah.
And
but also this guy, the guy who murders the rapist, seems like he doesn't seem like a seasoned killer or anything. He definitely...
He's like shaking and scared and sweaty.
He's like, oh, I don't want to get blood on my rubber gloves. And yeah, he doesn't seem like a guy who's...
Killing's not his scene. He's not like Cage where he goes, I'm the greatest!
Yeah, which, I mean,
people up.
Honestly, I would have been... If somebody burst into your house and was going to kill you, would you rather have them
Would you have a shitty killer?
Would you want them to be like weak, friggin' beta male, dude?
Manlet?
Do you
I don't need no beta cuck.
Do you want to freaking get killed?
Do you want to get killed by a snowflake libtard?
I don't. Beast,
I don't.
dude.
I want to get killed by a Chad.
I want to get killed by a Chad, and I want him to say, I'm the greatest before he puts the bullet between my eyes.
Absolutely.
So let's continue.
So then Cage gets thrown a packet into his lap and says, like, you got to fill out these insurance forms. And he opens it up, and it's just his wife's rapist dead, like a photo of him shot, bleeding.
With is it her necklace?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's also got her necklace that was stolen during the rape.
And of course, I don't really know how hitmen work, but I don't need a picture of the guy's like blasted out skull.
That just kind of links it back to me.
Right. If you tell me you did it, I'll believe you because I don't even know who it is.
Yeah, never met him. The police didn't even know who he was.
This could be just some guy that you shot and took a picture of.
He's like, can I keep these? If someone rapes my wife, I'm gonna jerk off to those pictures of him being dead.
I mean, that's fair.
Fair.
See, because you're seeking justice.
I mean, I'll jerk off to pictures of him alive too, but
well, yeah.
I guess I'll take what I can get.
I'll pretty much jerk off to anything. It's the moral.
Yeah, I'm jerking off right now.
Yeah, he is. He's dirty.
Oh shit. So then we cut to him and his wife at home. It's like a month or two later or something. I don't know. It had to be enough time for the bruises on her face.
Yeah, because she was really smashed up.
Yeah. And his wife is now very safety conscious. She wants like bars on the window. She wants an extra lock on the door. And she starts training with a gun. So she's traumatized.
Once again, good guy with a gun.
Good girl with a gun.
Don't say that. Good guy with a gun.
Well, Nicolas Cage doesn't want her to buy a gun. He tells her explicitly not to. But she says, how else can I shoot you?
She says, how else can you stop a bad guy with a gun?
A good guy with a gun.
And guess how many arguments he had against that?
He says an Apache attack helicopter.
She says, how do you stop a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun? His rebuttal? Absolutely nothing. What do you say to that?
Sounds like fact to me.
Bulletproof. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
Nope.
So then he gets contacted by that guy who contacted him in the lobby. And I don't know when he finds out his name is Simon, but we find out later his name's Simon. I'm just going to say his name's Simon.
At some point,
now.
they just start calling him Simon.
Yeah.
I don't really know when that was established.
And he tells Cage to mail a letter tomorrow, and then he does it. And he also says, like, now you got to follow this woman and her kid in the zoo and call a number if you see this man approaching them. He doesn't see the man approaching them, so...
Oh, yeah, because... So, I don't think we touched on this, but when he approaches Nicolas Cage initially, he's like, hey, we can take care of this
But you gotta do something for us.
But it's not going to cost you anything, but we might, call in a favor. And he makes it seem like it'll be something like, I need you to pick up my kid from school or something.
Yeah.
But then he gives him a suspicious letter to mail, and then a woman and her son to follow, or daughter to follow.
Yep. So he never sees the guy that is supposedly should be also following that woman and that child, who they say is a pedophile and a sex offender and is looking to, attack those kids
Specifically. Because that's what pedophiles do.
Yeah. You ever watch To Catch a Predator? So then afterwards, like, the guy's like, you never saw him? Okay, well, we just need you to push this guy in front of a train real quick. No one will notice that you pushed him. It'll look like a suicide or an accident or something.
It'll be fine.
And then when you do that, you call this number and you say, the hungry rabbit jumps, okay? And then Cage is like, no, not going to kill a guy. And he's like, hey, well, you better kill that guy. And then Cage is like, no, I'm not going to kill that guy. So then they slash his tires and they threaten his wife's life. And then he's like, okay, I'll go check out the guy.
Yeah, and to give you the quick rundown, this is a man who said he is trying to clean up the scum of the city, but also will murder an innocent woman if Nicolas Cage doesn't kill a pedophile himself.
He goes to kill the guy on like an overpass and he's supposed to push him off, but then Cage has a second thought and he's like, I'm gonna warn the guy and tell him what's going on.
I'm gonna let him know that I'm gonna kill him first.
So he goes and he's like, hey, Mr. Marsh, can I talk to you? And then the guy just immediately starts attacking him and fighting him and like
throws a bike at him.
Yeah, throws a bike at him, which flies off the overpass and crashes on a car below. Then in the fight, he like lunges at Cage and Cage just sidesteps it and the guy
he goes right over.
Goes right over and he dies.
Mission accomplished. Accidentally. It was that easy.
Yeah. So Cage runs away. And he gets home, and his wife has found the necklace that was stolen from her in the rape. And she's just like, how the fuck did you get this? And then he's like, I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm never telling you. And then, so she gets angry and leaves. And then not 10 seconds after she walks out, the cops come up and arrest him. And so he's taken
for the murder of that guy.
Yeah, for the murder of that guy. And they show him that he's found on footage walking onto that bridge, and also Marsh walking onto that bridge. His name's like Adrian Marsh or something, or
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But the tape in the camera that's watching the actual bridge happens to be missing.
Yeah, that one's missing. So
damn, they can't prove his innocence.
So the cops are like, we know you're up to something there, because like they also show that he was filmed on Marsh's phone when he was
in the zoo.
Yeah, in the zoo watching that woman. So Marsh was there, and Cage is just really bad at this job.
Dude, plot twist.
He's just dummy.
Well, he couldn't see Marsh's face because these freaking kids got their phones in their face all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just put down your phone and live in the moment, maybe you can be spotted.
Stop filming strangers at the zoo. Yeah. And look at the animals humping each other.
So, after those two detectives leave, another cop is like, hold on, I'm going to have some time with him. And he walks in, and the guy's like, hungry rabbit. And Cage is like, jumps. And he's like, cool. Unhandcuffs him, and he's like, you got to get out of here.
He's like, it was a stat.
Yeah. If you don't get out of here, they're going to kill you. And like, so
I love that guy.
Yeah.
The only cop I've ever liked in a movie, I think.
So while Cage is on the run, he meets up with his wife and he explains to her the whole situation. And she's like, oh, she's fine and understanding totally and supportive. Yeah, she's just like, oh yeah, you could just, the guy said he would kill someone and you were like, okay, kill him. And then, she was fine with it all. I don't know. And then, so he tells her to go to a hotel. And he finds out that Marsh, the guy he killed, was not a pedophile, but was an investigative journalist. He was investigating the rabbit jumping people.
Yeah,
which is what I will call them from now on, because the Justice Seekers maybe would be.
They just called themselves the Organization, which honestly, it only seemed like they were calling themselves that because the writers of the movie had no idea what to call these people. Yeah.
Also, I want to put. I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I felt this way. I felt there was no time in between him doing this job and then his job trying to kill him.
Yeah, pretty much right away.
At some point, they were like, "Oh, they're gonna kill you," and I was like, "Why?" Like literally, they have no why.
Yeah, there was an immediate flip where they told Nicolas Cage to kill this guy, and he didn't, and now he's instantly become their new target.
But he did do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
they're like, you just didn't do it good enough. I think, even though he's dead.
Yeah. Well, they come up to him. And he starts running away, and they're like, wait, we have the tape. It'll prove your innocence. It'll show that you didn't kill him, that he jumped off. And then Cage keeps running, and then they're like, all right, now we're killing him.
Oh, now we're killing him.
I don't really know when the decision was made, because it was just like, wait, it'll prove your innocence. And then when he keeps running, they just start shooting.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like it was like two separate movies.
Yeah. Cage then breaks into Adrian Marsh's office, the journalist, and goes through his desk to find info on the Organization.
It was after he went to his funeral, though, and talked to, like, his friends.
Oh, yeah. He talked to his friends there, and then they all thought he was a cop. And they were like, hey, if you're going to be a cop, just show your badge and don't pretend to be his friend, you asshole. And then...
Get the heck out of here, man.
And
they're like, hey, I'm walking here.
You didn't freaking know him, man.
So my summary here gets a little bit shorter because I started playing Garfield Food Truck. Sponsor us, please. Like, we mentioned it a lot on this
Garfield
podcast.
Food Truck. If you, I don't know who makes Garfield Food Truck, but if you don't fucking sponsor us, I'm low on gate keys. Basically, I just send me a couple gate keys.
Yeah. So he finds out that, like, by going through Mr. Marsh's office, he finds out that Marsh has a, like, shed somewhere where he goes fishing, and that's where he keeps, like, his information on the organization. So he goes there and then talks to a guy at the gas station there and is like, hey, like, can you let me into that shed there? This guy owes me a bunch of money. And then he's like, I'll, like, make it worth your while, and pushes a bunch of money. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't have a key for it, but, like, you know, you could just drive into it and break it open.
It's like, just drive your truck right into it.
So Cage breaks in there.
So he drives his truck into it and breaks it open.
Yeah, drives his truck in, breaks in, gets a DVD, watches the DVD, and it's interviews about, like, this organization and how the lead guy, Simon, is, like, going crazy now and just killing anybody he wants to, even though the whole thing was supposed to be about, like, justice and cleaning up the scum of the city. So Cage is now, like, frightened, and he has that, and he's, like, wants to turn it over to the police in exchange for... Oh, hold on here. Backtracking. I skipped something. On the DVD, he sees that his friend Jimmy is involved in this organization.
Fucking plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
Which I called from the very beginning, honestly. It's like, why are they making a big deal of this friend if he's not going to be either involved or killed? So,
yeah, I think he got involved in the organization when he was helping. They helped find his son Walt.
Shit show.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Shit show.
Did I miss a number?
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. No, you got him. You got him.
Shit show.
Such a good show.
Shit show.
Brandon is banned.
Oh, they're lost. Cool. Great idea.
Gotta
Great
get
story.
back to the island.
Oh yeah, okay.
They left and then they wanted to get
You
lost.
literally
again.
just told me the whole premise in the fucking title. They're lost. Okay,
Well, why is there a freaking smoke monster?
cool.
Why is there a fucking smoke monster there?
Why is there a polar bear?
What? Tell me why there's a fucking polar bear. What's that? What's in the hatch? How do they get the hatch? What is the hatch? Okay, sorry.
So he goes to Jimmy and confronts him, and he's like, I know you're involved in this. I saw the photos. And the guy's like, yeah, I got involved 15 years ago when I was looking for my son, Walt. and he goes, like, tell me Simon's real name. And he's like, he's relents and tells him Simon's real name. And so he finds out, I forgot what it was. It's like Edward.
I don't know his real fucking name.
Edward Cullen, some
Edward
stupid
Norton.
shit.
I don't know.
At this point, I was like, wait, why is he getting chased still?
So he calls him and he tells Simon to meet him at the Superdome, where he promises to trade Marsh's information in exchange for the security tape that shows that Cage is innocent. And meanwhile, Jimmy kidnaps Cage's wife. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Actually, the biggest twist is that they went to the Superdome and they weren't watching a football game. It was monster trucks.
Monster trucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a monster truck rally. And in the end, so, like, they set up this whole deal. And then Simon's like, cool, now that I have this evidence, I'm just going to kill both of you. Because, like, what?
Why not?
Yeah, why
I
not?
literally run an organization that just consists of killing people that I've told too much information
My
to.
favorite thing is when Nick Cage acts like he's really shocked and surprised that was the outcome.
Yeah.
That guy decided. He's like, wait, what? Like,
All
the
they
fuck do you
do
think
is
was gonna happen?
all they do is kill people.
Yeah.
Like,
That's it.
He's like, I know I told you to kill people. We killed someone that you wanted, and now we've been trying to kill you. But I swear, if you give me this, I won't kill you or any member of your family that I've visited literally more than once.
And you can see him, like, trying not to wink when he's saying it.
And Nick's like, oh, it shows my innocence. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, just give it to me.
But yeah, so they're about to kill Cage, but then Jimmy has a change of heart, and he shoots the guy who's about to shoot Cage, and then Simon, whose real name I forgot, even though that was a big twist somehow, I don't know.
It's like Adrian Brody or something.
He kills he kills Jimmy, then chases after Cage and Cage's wife, who got brought there in the deal. And there's a scuffle, and Cage's wife ends up killing Simon. And
what did I tell you? What stops a bad guy with a gun? How many times do we? I don't mean to get political.
Yeah,
right. I don't mean to get political.
But like, it's just more proof, man.
This movie wouldn't have ended.
Constitutional right.
This movie would still be going on right now.
Right now.
If she weren't strapped.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got guns, hun.
Holy shit. Sell that to the NRA. Let's clip that out.
The whole point of this movie, the organization was trying to tread on them.
Yes, and the organization was the NRA.
But so then that cop who let Cage off earlier shows up and he's like, "Hey, look at you, rabbit jumping hungry rabbits."
Hey,
yeah,
remember from the rabbit?
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, so you see those two down there?" And he's like, "He's dead, isn't he?" Yeah, and he's like, "He killed Jimmy, and then I killed him." And he's like, "I don't know about that. I think
they shot each other.
I think they died, and you were never here."
Yeah, and I think you were never here. And Cage is like, "Okay," and they leave. And then there's like a final credit sequence where like Cage is like delivering the DVD to the news organization.
Yeah, that Marsh worked for, and he hands it to one of the friends that he ran into at the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? What happens as he's going up the escalator?
With it, he says, "Hey, the hungry rabbit jumps, my friend."
And then there's a moment.
And credits.
Oh, and I may have you may have picked up on this from the Superdome reference, but this is yet another movie that takes place in New Orleans.
I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. This is the 75th movie that we've covered that takes place in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And also, they don't say it right off the bat, but there's a lot of clues to clue you in, like Mardi Gras and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
This is another classic New Orleans picture from
The
Nicolas
first time
Cage.
I picked it up was the police were there, and he said NOPD, and I was like, "That's New Orleans, isn't it?" I know it is because it's a Nicolas Cage movie. But yeah. So that's the whole plot summary there. And overall thoughts, gentlemen?
I thought it was way more boring than Firebirds, personally.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I couldn't find the section of the movie where they're like, "Oh, and now we're gonna kill you, so we're gonna chase you and try and kill you."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch that. So once they started doing that, I was like, I rewound it like 3 times. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it is kind of random, but you could feel the tension building. I felt like I thought it was an okay like thriller movie. This seems like a movie that I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking too much from personal experience here, but this seems like a movie that you go to a Blockbuster with your dad on visitation week because it's his custody day. And you see it on the rack there, and he's like, "Hey, how about this?" And I was like, it's a thriller movie. Yeah, sure, well, let's watch this, Dad. And then you go and watch it, and it's okay, and you don't really think about it again, but like, you had a good time with your dad.
And then you don't see him again for a few weeks, because that's when he was in the mental hospital. And,
that's a pretty good
kill
descriptor.
himself, and
I kind of liked this movie. I mean, it ended up higher in my Nicolas Cage ranking than I expected.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Maybe that's because it was inconsistent and I had no idea what was happening. But I don't know. I liked it.
Oh, big part that we didn't mention. He was a teacher.
Oh yeah,
for this movie, he was he was teaching students. He was teaching them urban kids. Who were always trying to fight, of course, because they're urban kids.
Well, it's like Joe Biden says, they can be as smart as the white kids.
Yeah, it's like Joe Biden says. One of them was named Corn Pop. And,
I mean, they're just the color of evil, so it's fine. But of course, they're fighting each other.
This wouldn't have happened if Joe Biden had just gotten his way and there wasn't forced busing.
But my favorite scene is midway through when his student just kind of like randomly like pushes him and he punches the fuck out of that little kid.
He punches his student right. I forgot about that completely. Yeah. He socks a student in the face, and people are pretty uncomfortable with it. But for the most part,
it goes
doesn't
by
seem
just
like
fine.
there's a ton of consequences.
Yeah, his wife is just like, "So you punched a student?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, he's a piece of shit." And she's like, "Oh," it was kind of like one of those sitcom moments where she's like, "Oh," and the crowd laughter in the background.
Oh my gosh, that's so hot! You fought a freaking kid who's so much stronger than you.
But yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was an okay movie. It was like a middle of the road thriller. It's probably not something I would think about a lot again, but
not something I would plan to rewatch, but something I didn't completely hate watching.
Yeah.
So
going back to Punching a Student, as someone that went to MPS for a little bit, I have watched a teacher put hands on a child, and it was like a 7th grader. That 7th grader then pulled out a fork, stabbed him, and then hit him with his desk. So I don't think this movie was incredibly realistic.
yeah.
honestly,
There were no fork stabbings.
I mean, yeah, that aspect of the film, and maybe most of the aspects of the film, not accurate, not realistic. But you know what? I watch movies to escape reality, bro.
That's true.
I
really
watch
depressed.
movies to learn.
I have depression.
I watch movies in the hope that they'll kill me. But-
We're getting closer. We're gonna find one.
But yeah, so I mean I think we've given our thoughts here. It's so
You don't want my summary?
no. That's exactly what I was going to ask for.
Yeah,
I
Dave,
forgot
let's
he was
hear it.
I don't have to give it to you if you don't want it.
No, I do want your summary.
Oh
That's
no,
actually,
it's actually mandatory that you give us the
Yeah.
the summary.
we do want it. That was in the NDA.
He never says it.
This?
He just leaves us hanging for forever. Okay.
I'll fight him.
This movie is the volcano movie that wants to be Alien. Produced by Rambo. Fuck yeah. Starts in the black with stacked cast. Set on Lost Island is a shit show. There's a black guy. Brandon is banished in the movie. Hungry Rabbit drives off T-Dog. Zandali raped by a cello. Charlie from Lost gets attacked in stairwell. Cage is Jimmy. Lobbyist by candy bars is suspicious. Beta Chip kills Chad. Justice is seeked. Rambo trains wife in combat. Tommy Lee plays a drum solo. Paul Simon mails Cage a kidney.
Paul Simon.
Cage is a pedophile.
Brian Singer.
Hungry Rabbit jumps in front of train with slashed tires. Flying bike lunges at Cage, runs away. Marge from Simpsons is in this movie.
I don't know how I got that.
Phone bad. I took a pee break.
Oh,
Is that,
Cage
wait, is that
gets
about you or is
murdered.
that about the movie?
I think
Marge has info on organization. Garfield arrives in food truck.
Marge from.
Walt is in Lost and Breaking Bad. He convinces Brandon to return to Island with Polar Bear and smokes crocodile with Monster. Paul Simon's real name is revealed on Garfunkel's food truck. At Monster Food Truck Rally. Garfield kills Zandali with guns, hun. Cop jumps on Rabbit, kills Jimmy. Marge has escalator memorial. New Orleans Saints win the Super Bowl. Joe Biden punches kid, Garfunkel doesn't care.
Paul Simon on Garfunkel's food truck. Okay, that was pretty good. That was
You know, I've been told I have a way with carry on.
okay. All right.
I mean, that was pretty good. I don't want to have to go back through the Wikipedia description to see how much of that was on point, but I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was up there.
I think paying attention makes this podcast a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you're hearing us out. And hey, you know what? If you keep this up, I'll buy you a taco at Garfunkel's food truck.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, do you think we could get a countdown now, Dave? I think it's time for a vote.
Nah.
Okay,
No.
so
We're getting there. We're working on it.
All right. Well, are you all ready with your vote?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Seeking justice.
Firebirds.
Oh shit.
We got a disagreement here. I think we've alienated our guest.
Yeah.
Really, what you should be asking is, what is your favorite movie about rape?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we did pick the movie with rape, and you picked the one with just attempted.
You picked the one where rape is portrayed in a positive light.
Yeah.
It shows that if you're a soldier, it's completely fine.
Yeah, that's I think what that Destiny's Child song was about.
If you're an American soldier, you can rape. It's fine.
I need a soldier, and he's got to stand up for me. He's got to hold me down and do whatever.
So
packing big things, if you know what I mean.
So what I'll say about this one is Firebirds was far from the worst movie we've seen. I just personally thought Seeking Justice was a little bit better. I like the spicy thriller aspect of it, and I didn't like the jingoism of Firebirds sometimes. But yeah, it's these are both gonna land somewhere in the middle, I think, of my ranking list. Or actually probably higher up, because God, we've watched some fucking turds recently.
We have watched some really bad movies. We've watched so many bad movies that Firebirds and Seeking Justice seemed not too bad to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I thought that Seeking Justice was a lot longer than it needed to be. I thought there was a lot of fake, everything, it was convoluted. There were plot twists that just didn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Firebirds, I was getting Nicolas Cage shooting terrorists, killing cartel in all American in the good U.S. of A. Mm-hmm. And he, what did I say? He killed Mexicans.
In the USA.
That movie needed a little Springsteen drum
That's what I'm saying.
solo.
I was watching a Bruce Springsteen movie. It was a little Bruce Springsteen mixed with some Ted Nugent mixed with some American Sniper.
Yeah, it was Bruce Springsteen with all the liberal shit that he's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a bong dong baby in the USA.
He
Highways jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power
taught me how to talk to women. It taught me of an incredibly serious condition that you cannot joke about in today's social climate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to cover my right eye on the whole entire drive home. See how it goes.
You need red panties and a stethoscope.
I did immediately donate to my local eye domination research facility. There's a march going on in a few weeks.
Usually I call eye domination skull fucking, but
is there
not
such thing as an
PC cooks?
These fucking
unlike you snowflakes,
libtards.
I'm not so easily triggered.
Is there such thing as an eye dominatrix that can identify your dominant eye and then beat the shit out of it? I don't know.
Wait, hold on. They made The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix Revolutions, and they made the Animatrix, but they never made the Dominatrix. Why is that?
That's a good question. And it will be answered, hopefully, in Seeking Justice 2, Seeking More Justice.
Justice found? Question mark. So next week we're going to be talking about the movies 8mm and Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. So tune in next week to see the sequel to that one that you saw once, and that other movie you haven't heard of but seems to be about old school film camera.
No, 8mm.
Sounds riveting.
Wait, hold on. Let me get this.
Wait, I'm assuming it's 8mm, but it is 8mm, so it could be 8 M&Ms. I don't know.
Can I my peep?
Oh,
give me just 1 second. I just want to get this clean. 8mm. What is that? A documentary about Dave's dong? Pay attention to that, Dave.
I thought wasn't 8mm the one that had
I bet it was a
M&M in it?
compliment to my dick though.
Yeah, it's
it was
8mm was the one that had M&M in it, right?
Yeah, it's Eminem and all the other haters that are just imitating.
I think 8mm is what the liberals want. They want to take away a millimeter from all of our 9mm.
They want to chop a fucking millimeter off my 9, man. So we got something to be mad about next time. So yeah,
I'll tell you what you can't fly a plane into, and that's my
not the World Trade
right to
Center.
own a firearm.
Yeah.
And can we get a rallying cry? I forgot to shout out the G-Force gang. I'm going to get into some hot water, I think, on the tweets. So I might have some answering to do. I might not be the founder of the G-Force gang anymore. I sense a mutiny.
G-Force gang goes their own way.
The idea that your title is founder can be revoked. not even leader as founder. It has changed the past.
It is a very complicated
organization.
And that's why I'm glad I'm not a part of it.
And it's kind of like the organization in Seeking Justice because we love G-Force and we murder rapists.
That's good.
Yeah.
GeForce is the one that's like 50 cents in, right?
G-Force unit. I don't know.
G-Unit.
My brain is broken, I think.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
You don't say
You're,
bye.
you're
Don't say
welcome.
bye.
Okay, you're welcome for me
Don't.
being on the show. You're welcome.
Oh yeah, thanks, Brandon.
for showing
Anything
up.
you want to plug, Brandon?
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to shout out? You got a Twitter or
You should be asking anything I want to unplug. No, fuck you.
What's your battle.net and how do you feel? What's your stance on Hong Kong?
If I'll do
I'm a
okay.
Hong Kong baby.
I've said this. I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean to get political. I've said this once. I'll say it before. If you're not white, you're Muslim.
Okay, bye.
Wait, do you actually want to plug something?
What?
Do you want to plug
Oh,
something?
plug your Twitch.
Idiot.
No.
Fuck you. Come on.
Okay.
He has a Twitch. It's like
It's good. It's good.
No. I guess I'll plug Trump 2020, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a literal fucking liar. Chemtrails are real. Hillary Clinton is the devil. We need to investigate. I think that immigrants from Mexico are being brought into the United States at a faster rate than they've ever been brought in before. And if you look, they're coming into the United States with full IDs and the rights to vote. And dude, you can call me fucking crazy. So immigrants are coming in because they're being paid by the libs to vote and sway the vote from Trump.
That's where all those Bernie Sanders donations are going. Well,
Hey,
once he gets his new
real
heart.
Quick,
Bernie Sanders. Do you mean Karl Marx, communist? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Mm,
I had someone come to my house last week trying to take my guns.
yeah.
Was it Obama?
Bring Obama to my motherfucking house.
Well, on all of that note, God.
Wait, have we been recording it? I thought we said bye.
Bye-bye.
This is important. You always roll when it's important.
Farewell.
Cage fight. Oh yeah. Cage fight. Here goes Cage.
This has been a Solid Work production.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.